This is a HeadGum podcast.
Here's a question. What is Care/of? Care of is a monthly subscription vitamin service made from effective, quality ingredients, personally tailored for your exact needs. So I got an email and they were like, take this quiz. So I took a quiz, super easy, super fun, super chill, lots of pictures, truly kept me engaged, bright colors, good for me. And it literally designed the vitamins that I should be taking. And truly, I read through it and I was like, this is right. I should be taking these vitamins. And there's tons of benefits to vitamins. So even if you try to maintain a healthy diet, guess what? It can be hard to get all those nutrients your body needs for long-term health. Vitamins also fill the important gaps that your body is missing from your diet. And get this, 90%. That's a lot of people. That's almost all the people. They fall short of the FDA recommended guidelines for at least one vitamin or nutrient. Also, the recommendations are built on clinical research with traditional medicine, with input from doctors and nutritionists. It includes individually wrapped packets with your specific vitamins and supplements for easy grab and go. Because you can't be shaking stuff out of bottles being like, what's this and the other thing? Nope, these are just wrapped up for you. And guess what? It costs about 20% less when compared to similar brands at drugstores and local health food stores. So for 25% off your first month of personalized Care of vitamins, visit careof.com and enter the promo code DATEME for 25%. I'm saying it again because you might have missed it, but you get 25% of your first month of personalized vitamins via Care of. Visit takecareof.com. The promo code is DATEME. What a treat. You'll be swallowing big old vitamins in no time. Bye-bye. Why won't you date me? Why won't you date me? Why won't you date me? Please tell me why.
Sorry.
It's okay. You didn't ruin it. I'm Nicole Byer, and this is my podcast. It's called Why Won't You Date Me? And the person you're hearing giggling at my very funny voice is my dear friend, Alison Rich. You can see her currently on the Goldbergs, and she was on a show with me called Party Over Here on Fox. Rest in peace, because it doesn't exist. It got canceled. Hi, Alison.
Hi, how are you? Oh my gosh.
I'm fantastic. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Really honored.
Don't be honored. You're like my dear friend.
I even more honored. Sometimes when I feel down about my life, I do look around at my friends and go, I have cool friends. Something must be okay.
Yes.
And also, it makes me laugh even more to hear you say that because of our interesting beginnings.
Oh, yes. I remember the first time I laid eyes on Alison, I was working the front desk at UCB, and I heard
going through a phase.
Click, clack of like heels, just like walking through the hallway. And then I heard someone say something about improv auditions and if she should line up early and what was the likelihood of like not being seen to sign up for them. And I was like, this girl is doing too much.
Yeah.
And then we were put on a team together and I was like, I hope she stopped doing too much.
I know. I feel like I had a solid year at UCB where I was just too much of a try hard. And I was also sort of like doing musical theater at the time. And that world is all
catch people up.
Yes.
UCB is the Upright Citizens Brigade
yes.
Theater, where we both met and started performing at.
Yes.
In New York City. It's owned by the UCB4. They came over from Chicago and they brought the Herald, an improv structure. We spent a lot of time doing a lot of improv and a lot of sketch comedy.
Yes.
But it paid off. We got paid to do sketch comedy on television for 6 people who watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I know Allison. Allison is the most fun. I
Aw.
adore her. She lived on my couch for 8 months. I
8
called her my
solid months.
couch monster.
And then other people came to like live on your couch for periods of time,
Mhm.
but I would be like, I am the official.
You're the OG couch monster.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Weird
that
thing
was
to take pride in.
fun. I miss those. With every step I take with my life, I miss the former.
Yes, I think that's natural.
My old shitty apartment in New York, sometimes I'll think about it and be like, it was caving in on itself, but we had some fun times.
Yeah, because it's just different problems,
Mhm.
like you could probably do stuff then that would have no consequences, whereas now it would have consequences,
Mm-hmm.
But I also think the thing about that apartment with you, me, and John living together is we're like all sort of similar in that we like having people around and we're
Mhm.
like 3 cartoon characters that just like would love to stay up all night gabbing about gossip.
Gabbing and screaming.
Yeah.
I'm sure my new neighbors are like, the loudest woman just moved on the street. But I think they like me. So, Allison,
Yeah.
you are a single lady.
Uh-huh.
You're on dating apps. Are you like me? We both have never had like long-term actual boyfriends, right?
This is true. Yeah.
Yes. And that is
Wow, really cutting right to it. If I had any
Yes.
hope of seeming cool, it's out the door.
Well, I don't think it's a cool thing because I know
No, I think-
lot of like lame, dumpy ass women
That's true.
who have boyfriends, and I'm like, how? Why?
I once said that too. I was like kind of complaining about that once years ago to Eliza Skinner, and she's like,
Mhm.
"You care about getting a boyfriend? Have you seen people with boyfriends? They're dumpsters." And I was like, "Yeah." I also think that there's like a perfect storm of like lots of comedy people like don't know how to do that area of their life and like living in a big city. I've spent many a night rationalizing why
Mhm.
there's perhaps this deficiency in my life.
I said to John the other night, I was like, I feel like a lot of uninteresting women have boyfriends or in relationships. I was like, am I too interesting for a boyfriend? And he laughed and said, no.
I mean, but I do think what is true about what you're saying is it's kind of like music. Like what's on the radio, most pop music is like good. But like, is someone going to be like, this is the greatest music of all
Mhm.
time? And I think there's perhaps a group of people out there that like date a ton because they're like girl next door, boy next door, middle of the road. Like they can work with lots of people's lives. Whereas I think we're like acquired tastes. And again, all of this is rationalizing so
Mhm.
that I don't crumble into a ball of like, I'm garbage. But I do think we're like specific.
Mhm.
And so we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But for the people whose cup of tea we are, they're going to drink it
Ooh-wee.
fast or whatever that
Oh,
metaphor
I
would
want
be.
somebody to sip on me.
Sip on
Ooh,
us.
sip on
Sip.
me. Are
When
you're on Tinder? Yes.
No.
No, you're not.
I'm not on Tinder. I'm actually not on any apps these moments.
Whoa, this is news to me.
Yeah, I did have a Tinder moment. Like, I did Tinder for a sec maybe 2 years ago and had, like, I think the most Tinder experience, which is, like, I met a guy who was, like, a psycho, but, like, we had an afternoon date and I was, like, fully naked within, like, 2 hours. And I was like, what am I doing? And then we had, like, 6 weeks of crazy hooking up and he was, like, I remember one time we hooked up and he's like, I've been thinking about doing it. And I was like, what? And he goes, modeling. Like this kind of like super egocentric, like, but at the time and he told me so many red flag things. He told me, I feel so sad for past Alison. He was like 29 and he was like, I had sex with a 17-year-old, but in New York, it's not statutory rape.
Whoa!
And I was like, cool. You mean like 6 years ago? He goes, last year. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah, I'll hook up with you for 2 more weeks. Like, just like, and that like exploded so fast that I was like, no more Tinder for me. I will say, I know that I've only talked about the negative parts about it. The good part was like, he made me feel like a sex goddess. So that's why it was really hard for me to, or I just didn't immediately
you
run out
need
the door.
that.
Yes. But so then when I do apps, I do like Hinge and what's the fucking other one? Bumble. And I like dated one guy for 4 months from Hinge, and then a couple years ago I dated a guy for like 5 months from OkCupid. But
wait, how long ago was the OkCupid?
Like 2014. No, 2015.
I feel like OkCupid has really fallen out.
No, yeah, I went back to it after that, and you can't. It's like the dregs, like just weirdos.
Yes.
Because there's none of that, like, we have to match before there's discussion.
Yes, you can just talk to whoever you want. I keep getting messages from, like, 60-year-old Hispanic men from Pasadena who are like, excuse me.
Wait.
I want you.
Why have you not adjusted your age settings? Why is there a 60-year-old?
Because I don't want to put up, like, what if I fall in love with a very hot
There's
daddy?
a difference between walls and, like, boundaries.
Sure,
A wall is just a mean boundary, but you can have nice boundaries.
I guess. I don't know. Like, what if I meet, like, a babe of a 60-year-old who's just like, hi, I have my life together. I'm a silver fox. I'm very sexy.
I mean, I sometimes like when the guys that I meet in real life that I end up having a thing with, I'm like, if you had a dating profile, I'm sure I wouldn't look at you because I bet you're bad. Either you're like not traditionally attractive or you're a dumb dude who wouldn't know how to like market himself. So when I am on apps and I'm looking at guys, I'll like anybody who's kind of borderline for me, I'm like, well, maybe they're like one of those guys who does,
That's what I do. I'm like, normally I wouldn't, but I guess it was not a date. Okay, so I'm shooting my show, Loosely Exactly Nicole. You can watch it on Facebook. and the new guy we cast as my new boyfriend is this guy named BJ Britt, who is so hot. And I've told this to his face.
But
he's so hot. I guess, blowjobs. Blowjob Britt. I haven't said that to him yet. I will on Monday. But he is so hot. And one of our first scenes, or one of our first days together ended with him making out with me.
Ooh.
And he like juiced me the fuck up. I was like, ooh, baby.
Yeah.
I need to get like railed. Like his lips were juicy. He was good at kissing. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I like, in between the setup, went on Tinder and was like swiping, just trying to find something. So then I matched with this guy. His name is Nick. And on his profile, it says he makes music for the Kardashians. And I was like, how weird.
This is another, because there was the other guy.
Yes.
Whoa, should we fill the audience in or no?
No.
Yeah. He doesn't deserve the breath.
No, sure doesn't. But I literally, I can't escape that.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe what it's going to culminate in is you fucking Kim Kardashian.
I
Which,
hope.
if it ended up being that, it would be worth the ups and downs.
Her juicy, I guess I could fill in the audience. I dated a guy who edited Kardashian Instagram videos.
And now here's another.
And now here's another dude who works with the Kardashians that I met on Tinder. So it's just like, I guess I'm just going to keep meeting men who have Kardashian money via making things for them. So anyway, he messages me and he's like, do you want to go skinny dipping? And I was like, where? He was like, in my jacuzzi. And I didn't want to say that's like skinny sitting. That's not a dip. You're not swimming around, okay? So I was just like, whatever, fine. Do you live alone? He was like, yes. And I was like, great, let's do it. So then I went home to shave my puss real quick because I was like, it was very overgrown because I was very sad from somebody and I wasn't grooming.
P.S. I recommend laser. I had my 6th session today. Continue.
No, I cannot. Laser scurs me. You want to put a laser near my clit?
I mean, there's enough like shit in this world that you're not even aware of that's bad for you. Like, and it doesn't, I've done it. I don't think a single person's gotten their clit burned off.
But does it hurt?
A little, but not more than waxing. And it lasts better. Anyway.
How long does it last?
I mean, you have to do it a couple of times, I think, for it to last long term. But I've done it, you do it like once a month.
Okay.
And in that time, maybe I'll like do a touch up of a shave once, and it's like I am Armenian, and it is showing up in my bush. Like I have a full I sell whatever baba ganoush out my puss, but this it was like now it looks like I have cancer.
Wait, is it bald?
Well, no, I leave a strip because I'm a liberated woman.
What happens if
so much information?
Who cares? What happens if full bush comes into
fashion?
No,
I've thought about that, and the thing is that it doesn't. Most people say that after a couple of years, stuff starts to come back. I don't know if it's ever going to fully be Armenian again, but I think enough will come back because I do think about when I give birth, wouldn't. It'll be funny if I'm I have a sexy little landing strip as my child's nose is coming out of my crotch.
I like that you think it's better to give birth with a full bush.
I just think if you had a groomed bush, doctors and whatever, all your family that's looking in there is going to be what are you trying to prove? I don't know. These are the things I think.
Very funny. I never once thought about that. I just have sparse hair.
Oh,
my pussy looks like a 60-year-old man who's balding. There's just patches here and there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not a hairy person.
Yeah.
So even I haven't shaved my legs in, I don't know, 10 years, 7 years, something like that. And there's just little wisps.
Whoa, not me.
I'm lucky that way, I guess.
Wait, I cut you off. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's fine. So then we're going skinny dipping in his jacuzzi. So I go home, shave my puss, get in my car, drive 25 minutes because he was in North Hollywood. He was where I began my day. So I get to his house. He gives me the address. I arrive. I text him. I said, I think I'm here. He goes, where? I said, I think I'm in front of your house. He goes, I don't see you. And I said, I'm in front of a gate. He goes, there's no gate in front of my house. And I was like, hey, man, then I don't know what to tell you. And then I hear his voice, and it's behind me. And he goes, oh, I think I gave you my neighbor's address. And I was like, what? So that was the red flag one. But first of all, so you don't want me to know where you live. I get that. Cool. I'm a stranger. But you invited me to your house.
Wait, I don't think that's you don't want me to, because you ultimately go into his house and you can see the number.
But why would he give me his neighbor's address?
I mean,
his across the street
that doesn't
neighbor.
Make any sense. It's more like if your phone auto-corrected the wrong, I don't know.
I feel like he was oh, I don't want to give out my address. I feel like he's a dummy.
Yeah.
At this point, I was like, this man is dumb.
And he's trying to show he's not dumb by being look, I did this thing where you can't know, and it's
yeah, I made a mistake. I don't know. So then I go in his house. His house is the strangest little couch. It was the smallest couch I had ever seen.
Yeah.
For a human to sit on. He had a weird pool table, and then he gives me a tour of his house, and he's like, this is my recording studio. There was a laptop, just one laptop.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what are you recording? But then I was like, whatever. And then he was like, and this is my studio? And he was like, it's my green screen room. There was no green screen.
Oh my! I don't what did he look like his pictures? That's always
he
the
looked
first
just like
thing.
his picture.
Oh, okay, that's good.
He looked just like it. I would say he photographed a little better than he looked in person, but whatever.
Don't we all?
I mean, we all filters and shit really help. So then we go into his bedroom, and there is some sort of lizard, the biggest lizard I have ever seen. And it's just in this glass case, and then a red light, not a heat lamp, just a red light in his room.
Ew.
And I was like, red flag number 2, I need to fucking leave. And then he talks for too long. We're just talking. He's telling me that actors are lazy because all we have to do is learn lines and hit marks. And I was like, all right, I mean, you're literally insulting what I do. And I was like, I'm an actress. Because at that point, I was like, I usually don't tell people what I do if I care about them, because I just don't want to talk about it yet, which is weird. We'll get into that later.
No, yeah.
And then he was like, oh, cool. Well, I'm not talking about you, but most actors are just bad. And I was like, great. Do you want to get in your hot tub? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I take off my clothes, get in his hot tub.
Whoa. So was it is it you're undressing in front of each other, or because have you been drinking that just feels very clinical to be now here comes
he offered
the
me a
naked.
beer. I said, do you have anything else? He said, I have vodka. I said, oh, great, I'll have a vodka. Do you have club soda? Yes. Opens his refrigerator. It's filled with like old, I don't know, yogurt cups.
Ugh.
And he was like, no, I guess I don't. And I was like, well, do you at least have ice? And he was like, yeah. And then he like pulls out this ice and it had fused together, so it was a block of ice. So then he was like smashing the ice.
Oh my God. And you're like, I'm so wet.
And I was like, I drove 25 minutes. I'm going to get this dick.
Oh
so
my
then,
God.
so we had a drink or two or whatever. And then so then I was like, let's get in the jacuzzi. So then I like started taking off my clothes and he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh, let's not do that.
Well, I mean, better that than like, no, or like, what? I thought you would be a dog underneath.
I thought you were smaller than the thing I'm looking at now. So then that'd be funny if I took off my clothes and I was a dog.
Yeah.
But so then we're like in his lukewarm hot tub.
Okay.
It was, I can't even describe. It was like sitting in like a puddle.
Was it bubbling?
It was bubbling, but it wasn't hot. I don't know if he had turned it on.
I haven't really had water experiences except like shower stuff. So,
well, we didn't fuck in the hot tub.
But even like I'm like, if you were cuddling up on each other, it's like, are you slip sliding on? Like, I'm like, what's the real? How does it really go down?
Honestly, I don't know because he sat so far away from me, and I was like, what is happening? What are we doing? And then I don't even know how the conversation got there, but he was like, I think Trump is a good businessman. And
oh, great.
Honestly, if you're listening and you like Trump, so we all have our opinions. Me personally, he's not for me. And I said that. And he was like, but you can't dispute he's a good businessman. And I was like, but I can. And I don't really want to talk about it. And he's like, nobody ever wants to talk about it. Also, like, who cares? I didn't vote in this election. And I was like, okay, red flag number 3, but I'm all juiced up from before, and I drove 25 minutes.
How long has it been since the juicing? Like 2 hours?
At this point, like a good
Aren't you like dried and congealed over at this point?
I am still throbbing with juice and trying to get. Like,
you know what we should do, or you should have as a segment on this podcast, is like a red flag off, where people, because when you said the like red light thing, it reminded me of this guy that I once hooked up with, where I got to his place and on the wall he had cut out all of the pages of Catcher in the Rye and stapled them to his wall like he was a beautiful mind. Whoa. And I still hooked up with him, and it was so, I was like, and he was like 8 years older than me.
Oh no.
Like, oh my God. Anyway.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
I would love to be inside his brain when he was like, I'm going to staple all the pages to Catcher in the Rye to my wall. That's insane.
And I was like, not yet jaded enough to instead of being like, what? I was like, wow, cool. This is so cool.
I feel like women do that.
Yeah.
We're just like, wow. Like, guys will be like, ugh, you're dumb fucking shopping shit. And we're like, football is great. And
yeah, but I do think now at this point,
are wonderful.
I can't do that as well.
No, I mean, I wasn't shy about me being like, hey, man, you're saying the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
So then, after being in the jacuzzi for too long, and I was like, I need this man to shut up, otherwise I'm going to leave and not get juiced. So, not get squeezed. So then I was like, can you fuck me or something? And he was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I noticed when he was getting out of the hot tub that he was shaped like Grimace. He had the widest hips.
Oh my gosh.
And the smallest shoulders.
Wait, had you guys kissed yet?
No.
Whoa.
Nothing. He invited me over for sex, and then I had to put in the work.
Ugh.
I had to listen to him. I had to be like, let's fucking go do it. So we get on his bed that's like basically on the floor. And then he was a good kisser. He was good at working that puss. He was very good. Fingering, rubbing, all that stuff was great.
Great.
And then I was like, do you want to fuck me? Like, it was just like,
because it was just like all touching
well,
stuff.
I had come already, so I was like, it feels good. I'd like to have a dick inside me. So then he was like, yes, I do. And I was like, great. So then I was like, do you have a condom? And he was like, yep. And he like pulls out a condom and is like smiling with it. And I was like, put it on. And he was like, uh-huh. And then he like rips it with his teeth and it doesn't rip. And he's ripping. Then he rips it again with his teeth. It doesn't rip. So then I go, use your second hand.
Oh my God.
So he uses his second hand and opens it and like puts it on. He literally fucked me for, I would say, no less than 42 seconds before he was like,
Did he make that noise?
Yep.
Wow.
He was not that wild. It was more like, oh.
Well, I would say that sometimes, like, I do kind of wish. I feel like most of the dudes I come across, when they come, they like don't make a sound, and I would like a little sound.
I have a theory about it.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of men make sounds with me, and I think my butt is the biggest butt they've had slamming against their pelvis.
Wow.
So I think it's like a very wild sensation that they're not used to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, maybe I think too highly of my butt.
No.
But, like, I love it. It's very
That's
big.
great.
I get compliments on
Yeah.
it. Oh, then afterwards he was like, do you want a shower? And I was like, no, I'm going to go. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, what? You can't be sad. I have to leave. And he's like, I'll just, like, walk you to your car. And I was like, okay. And then he, like, closed the door and then stood there. And I was like, what is happening? I don't know. So then I rolled down the window and he's like, see you soon? And I was like, sure, Nick, I'll see you soon. And I like rolled up the window and drove away. I was like, I'm never gonna see this man again.
Oh my gosh, so many things to unpack there. One thing I want to say is I think it not being super long, I think the first couple times with a dude, like, I don't know that we necessarily realize that they're like, we can kind of more just lay there if for whatever, I mean, not you'd like to like be more active, but I think there's a lot of pressure on the guy to like do something fancy or whatever. So I think that can contribute to like the first couple times being
maybe
not stellar.
Yeah, I have a lot of one night stands, and the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, these will be better if I just tell these people what I want.
Yeah, but
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but it's
Alison,
hard. Yes,
this conversation is so good, but we have to take a break.
Oh my gosh!
When we come back, we'll talk more about Tinder.
Okay.
And that's our break. Alison, you don't have a Tinder anymore.
No.
But I want you to look at my Tinder.
Okay.
I think you might have seen my Tinder page. I'm not sure.
So I definitely, is it still like you with a big black dick? Like a dildo?
Yes. Okay, so you've seen it before. You think I should change that, right? I feel like you're a friend who's like, you should change that, girl.
I think it depends on what your goals are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to lead with your sexual downness, then keep it. Mm-hmm. But if because the story you recounted of like this sort of weird hookup, maybe like you would have less of that if it wasn't so much like, here's a big black dick dildo. But if you're like, you know what, because you also have to be realistic about like Tinder, maybe that's like all you can get out of that. Mm-hmm. But if you were like on Hinge or Bumble or, something else, then maybe you wouldn't put that because that's more like datey. Mm-hmm. It's just, what's your goal? I guess my goal for Tinder is, if I need to get juiced, I don't know. I've never said this before. I've never said juiced. Now it's a thing. Can that be the name of this episode? We get juiced. Just getting juiced. And we just have to wear ponchos, but the ponchos come from our vaginas. Yeah. But the other thing, though, is that because I think people really think of like hooking up when they think of Tinder, it almost feels unnecessary to also put like this dildo in your picture because they're like, well, this person probably considers fucking in the on the table, and like, yeah, that's my thought. But hey, here, look at the rest of it. Okay. And remember, you're on a podcast, so you just have to describe what you see. Oh, and if your age here is a lie. Yes. I don't know how to fix it on Facebook. It won't let me change it again. Okay. But because it used to be like 104. Okay. And then I changed it to my real age. And then I made it younger when my age wasn't on my IMDb. I see. Just because I was like, I don't want anyone to know. Yeah.
But now they do. Oh, also, if you want to see what Alison is seeing, you can go to my Facebook page, my fan page, Nicole Byer Comedy on Facebook.com, and you can see the actual images.
Oh my gosh, this is great. Okay. So picture one we're seeing is Nicole looking fucking gorgeous. And she is holding in her hand a like really girthy, like foot long black dick dildo.
Uh-huh.
And that's, really what would be funny is if you change the dildo to a tiny one so guys aren't intimidated, because I don't have a penis and I'm intimidated by
But
this.
here's the thing. Why would you be intimidated by it?
Because it's suggesting that perhaps the thing that will satisfy you most is something huge and no human man has this.
I guess I think it's so comically big that like 0.2% of the world could actually take that dildo.
I think maybe if it was a little bigger, or it was like a penis that was a chair, that you were. But I don't know. You should have you had guys comment, like guests tell you what they think of your profile? Because
yes,
I'm just
I've had some people say I would not lead with it, maybe put it at the end, get rid of it altogether. Some people like it because they're like, you're being upfront with like what you think is funny and what you like.
Yeah, I also like what you write in it. I feel like that's always challenging. May I read this?
Sure.
So she says, I got a fat ass, so if you're into it, and then wavy emoji. Love that. I like people with a sense of humor because life is too fucking long to not laugh. Oh, that's it. I thought you were going to say life is too fucking short. But
no,
Nicole's
life is long.
Kill us already.
There's 24 hours in a day. That is a long
I feel like life is zipping by.
I mean...
And then you have DTF, down to figure skate, or fuck, or farm, or fly a kite, whichever is easier. If I were being there's a grammatical error.
Is there?
Sorry.
What is it?
It would be whichever is easiest, because easier is for two things you're comparing, whereas this is a list of two or more.
Interesting? It used to say fuck or farm.
There you
whichever
go.
is easier, and I just never adjusted it.
There you
go. Thank you.
Hey, no problem.
I mean,
I have your back, grammar-wise.
I'm a little sad that a man hasn't caught that grammatical error.
Men are idiots. Then you have you buy a big Christmas tree, and you're wearing a cute outfit. I guess you are humping the Christmas tree.
Thank you. You're the only person who's gotten that.
I should date you. That's what this is.
You should date me.
And then, looking really glamorous. You're just like, this is more like a going out look is the next picture in front of what seems like a quality sectional. And then there's you humping a bookcase in a unitard. I think I love that. And then another picture of you, which seems to be on like the set of some game show. It looks like The Voice, but like in the shape of a heart.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's in Australia.
Okay.
It was at Madame Tussauds. I was a real tourist when I went to Australia.
Mm-hmm. And then you with your dog, Clyde, and your makeup is looking dope. You got some cool ass eyebrows.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I might change the order, and I think that dick photo is either going to make people be like, yeah, or be like, I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the photos are like totally great because they're like honest, but also like positive and fun, and they show a sense of humor. But what do I know? I'm nobody.
I had an interaction with somebody that I want to talk to you about.
Okay. Yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about like what your podcast is like?
This.
It's you like
this
talking to people about
my dating, your dating, all of our dating.
I love it.
So this man, his name is Steven. He's 33.
Okay.
He's attractive.
Okay.
He's got some good pictures. A headshot, which I'm not into.
I hate that.
But it seems all good.
Okay.
His profile says, I skateboard, I art, I food too.
I food too?
I don't know what that means.
I mean, he's like into food, or
I guess. Or he's like trying to be funny.
Oh, I screenshot the last time I was on Bumble was like 6 months ago, and I screenshot this like horrible guy's profile, but I've wanted to like put it on Instagram, but I've always been entangled with somebody else while I've thought to do it, and I'm like, I can't post this because I don't want the other person to be thinking thoughts. But the bio, it's a 36-year-old guy who calls himself a comedian, and the bio, let me see if I can get this right, is I want a pretty girl with an ugly girl's personality.
Oh,
no. I mean, honestly, maybe I love that because he just showed you inside his soul. You're like, I know exactly what a horrible asshole you are.
There was one guy on Bumble who, I might have said this on another podcast, but he said, I'm looking for a smart girl who wears V-necks and shows off that chest. So I messaged him. I was like, but what if I wear turtlenecks and I'm a dummy? And I thought it was really funny. And he didn't message me back.
Ugh.
Okay, so how would you respond to this?
Tell me.
Steven said, girl, you're the funniest. Down to figure skate anytime. Smiley face.
Cute. I like that.
But okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
Am I the funniest because of my profile, or am I the funniest because he knows who I am? That's a very weird thing, and I don't know how to... I never know how to navigate
Does that happen a lot, that people like reveal partway through that they're like, I know you, you're famous?
Yes. Sometimes it happens because it's weird. I'm in a weird spot where like some people know who I am. A lot of people do not. Mm-hmm. So like I've been on dates where midway through they'll be like, I know exactly who you are. I've seen you do like a bunch of shows or whatever. Or I've had people be like, I have no idea who you are, which is great and whatever.
Right.
And then I've had people message me who are like, I think you're really funny. Me and my my ex-girlfriend used to like watch Girl Code. And I'd be like, okay, thank you. And then nothing. And I'm like, oh, you just wanted to stop by and say that I'm funny.
Right. Well, I'd say like, as hard as it is, like go in assuming the best of like, he just like think, because your profile is super funny and like he didn't add in, you know, like, I know you from blah, blah, or whatever. And even if he does, like, and maybe your ideal person like doesn't know you from, you know, your career, like, anybody you date will come to know that, and that shouldn't like rule them out entirely. Maybe your guard's up like a little bit, but I think if he really knew you from your career, he would say more than that of like, I saw you on this show or whatever.
Fair.
That's my
I'm always like real trepidatious about people.
And I also think he responded like in a joking way of like down to figure skate anytime. Like I think a guy showing that he can banter is key.
I warn you.
Warn me.
A lot of guys, well, I guess I don't have to warn you, but some guys actually think I can figure skate.
Oh,
I had one guy who was like, we'll go to Burbank. There's a ice skating rink there. It's open all year round. Do you want to go at this time? And then I was like, oh, do you really actually want to figure skate? He's like, yeah, I really want to see your moves. I've never gone out with someone who could figure skate before, and I ice skate. And I was like, hey, man, I was very much kidding. And then he went, oh, cool. Well, do you want to do something else? And I was like, I guess. And then he stopped.
How do you know it was that tone?
Because then he stopped messaging me after I said, I guess.
But I think you're assuming the worst. And I'm a person who does that too, but I don't think it does us any favors of like,
you're right.
As if he's typing on his computer with knives for hands, being like,
guess.
You know, because like so many people flake out on people on Tinder or any of these apps because they just like, you know, you don't know this person at all. And like, yeah.
Fair. Okay, Alison.
Yeah.
You're not into women.
Right.
I don't say I'm not into women. It's not something I've X'd out of my life. Anyway, we're not in a position to date, nor do I ever think we would be.
Right.
Alison, if we were, would you date me?
I thought about this because I knew that you. And I think we would have a hot, steamy affair.
Ooh.
Because I feel like these days in my life, dudes fall into one of two categories. Either they're like, oh, this is all the things on paper. Like, you seem like boyfriend material. But then there isn't the like it just doesn't work out for some of the reasons that are more ephemeral. Or there's a guy who's like a fucking crazy pirate boy who I'm like, you could never work, but we have like amazing sex or something like that. And I think perhaps you're a crazy pirate boy.
Yay!
You know?
Arr, matey, ta-tar-ta-tar-ta-tee. I'll get in your pussy. Thank you. Yep, that answer is basically along the lines of what everybody else has said.
No.
No one has been like, you know what, Nicole? Yes, I see ourselves in a long-term relationship.
Okay, but here's the thing.
No, it's fine.
I would say, as your friend, that's what you're putting out there, and so you're totally hitting the mark of what you're putting out there. But the question is, do you want to be putting that out there? And if you don't, then maybe make adjustments. But if you want that sort of thing,
do you think that's why I'm single? Because that's what I'm putting out there?
I think that is part of it. I also do think like it's really. The city's hard. We work in a dumb industry. I think like straight dudes are in a weird place across the board, you know? But I would say that's like a big factor, I think, is that like you got a big black dildo in your Tinder profile in life.
In my I mean, kind of. Oh my God, there's glitter in my eye. I fell asleep with my with my makeup on last night, and I was wearing a shit ton of glitter, and I woke up and there was just glitter on my pillows, glitter on my sheets, just glitter everywhere. But then, okay, my Bumble profile.
Okay.
I'll have you look at that because I feel like, so on my Bumble profile, I can read it to you. It says,
read it to me.
It says, always trying to have fun. Like, literally, always. There's never a time when I'm not trying to have fun. Also, I like tattoos. Fun ones. I don't know.
Gosh.
It might be just very dumb and I should change it. But there's no dicks in this profile.
Okay.
There's, it's like me sitting at a desk, me climbing that bookcase. Well, there is me holding the dildo, but you can't see the dildo because Bumble cropped it out because they were like, girl, let's get you somebody. And then there's me sitting on a Target ball, you know, those balls in front of Target. And then there's me with ET.
Yeah.
I'm fun. I'll go to touristy
places. Oh my gosh,
places.
that is really fun.
Me in front of my bathroom with my long braids. So I'm literally not putting out any fuck vibes.
Yeah.
And nobody will talk to me on Bumble.
Ugh.
I've gotten one response. I've read it before on the podcast, but I've gotten one response on Bumble from someone I didn't know. It was Billy. I said, Billy, quick question. Is that black child in your picture yours or borrowed? He said, whoa, he's brown and he's my son. So I said, cool. I'm glad that got cleared up. Otherwise, it could have gotten real awkward. And he never responded, leading me to believe that he was actually offended that I called his brown kid black. And I was just trying to be like cute and funny. Like, did you borrow this kid to like seem cuter or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the glitter in my eye.
Where's it coming from?
I don't know. It's like on my face. I'm having like a real issue with my face right now. I fell asleep in this makeup. I have glitter all over my face. I have an awful zit in the middle of my fucking nose, which makes it look like I have 3 fucking eyes. That's why I'm wearing glasses.
See, I now see the zit now that you're saying it, but to me it just looked like like your nose. You know.
Can see it via the glass. No, I have to look at myself.
That was the wrong thing I said there.
It was.
I'm so sad.
Oh yeah, it's like fucking. It's bad.
You're gorgeous.
No, I'm a bad, nasty-looking idiot. I'm disgusting, Alison.
That is the thing about you, Nicole, is you're a bad, nasty-looking idiot who's disgusting. Oh.
I'm so nasty. So, Alison, why do you think you're single?
You know, I have wrecked my brain, and I don't know why I keep going into this, like, pseudo-Irish accent, but...
I guess it's fun for you.
I can probably pinpoint a couple things. I think I would be more interested in why you think I am, but I'll start off perhaps. So let's see. I think I've always, in general, this has been an area of my life that I've struggled with compared to like school or career or friends. Mm-hmm. So I think I have some like long-term, self-esteem stuff that just, not to be like too real, but I think like it's sort of like any sort of clean slate situation I go into, like a new date or like a first date. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing in, neuroses and things like that maybe in other areas, like if I go on an audition or I meet a new friend, I don't. And that, you always kind of work on, but it's like I can't wake up tomorrow and be like, I feel whole or something, mm-hmm. And it's funny, I was thinking about the podcast as I was coming over, and sometimes I try to work on myself a lot. But sometimes it feels like, do I have to have myself 100% figured out and self-helped before I like work out with someone because I feel like I'll be 197 before that happens. So I hope that's not the case.
I don't think you need to work yourself out completely before you find someone because we know a bunch of fucking messes who are in relationships.
And I also think people kind of seek their same level of like well-adjustedness and things like that. So I just need to find a dude who's like as fucked up as me but in their own way or whatever.
Yes.
So I think the self-esteem is a thing. I definitely also think there's like I'm kind of an acquired taste. Like I'm pretty assertive and like I just think that I'm not going to be every dude's cup of tea. There's also reasons that I think that sort of like pat me on the back and are shit on guys. And it's like, I'll tell that to myself when I'm feeling bad, but I don't know how true they are of like, I'm doing like pretty fine in my career. Like there's ups and downs.
You're doing
but I like
very well.
Thanks. And I like feel good and whatever. But I do think guys in general, especially in our industry, if they don't feel like they're doing as well or better than the woman, they have a hard time. And there's obviously exceptions. I'm oversimplifying. I'm sure there's examples where it's vice versa gender-wise. But sometimes, like, I don't know, I'll like a guy who's like not as far along in his career and it's not an issue for me, but it's an issue for them. But also sometimes it's a little bit of an issue for me because I'm like, I don't want to be like holding your hand or so that's sort of a weird thing too. But I don't know. I think it's many small things. I think I'm like naturally neurotic. So like there have been times when I've sort of like ended something before maybe it needed to be because I'm like, I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to cancel it, you know? And so I don't know. I think it's like it's just I've got a rat's nest in my brain.
I have a rat's nest in my brain is very funny.
Thank you.
I think you might be single because you're too funny.
Oh, but there's so many funny women that we know that aren't single.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, there's like, we could list off tons of people.
I don't know. I just think you're really funny.
That means so much to me.
Some men might be very intimidated because you're not just funny on stage, you're funny in life too.
Oh, that's fair. Well, I think that certainly, I think for both of us, and again, I'm like I'm building us up, but I don't think it's, being too unfair or whatever. Like, there are cool things about us that are going to suddenly limit the pool of like, there's now only this like smaller group of guys that maybe would be secure or whatever. And then like lots of them are in relationships or they have their own shit or whatever. But like there are so many examples of like very funny women who have people. So I don't buy it, Nicole. But that does make me feel.
Well, let's see. I think you're too funny. Maybe a little too.
Yeah.
Maybe
real.
a little too dismissive.
Too dismissive. Okay.
Sometimes when you speak to people, it's not a mean thing that you're doing.
Okay.
It is almost as if you're like, hey, what you just said is not very interesting. I'll help you out. I'll say something better.
Oh my God.
But like,
I appreciate that honesty, but that's a horrible thing for me to do. Can you give me an example? Like, I totally believe you, but because I do think I don't have a great screensaver face of like when I'm like, I am very judgmental of other people and myself, and I'm trying to work on it, but
it's not even in a terrible way, and I can't give you an example because I can't think of one right now.
But it's good to know. Like I want the outside feedback, and maybe it's not
even a bad thing, and it's not you're not being an asshole. Okay. It's a lot of people are very boring. I do it too.
Yeah, and I do. I think for people perhaps like us who maybe would get bored or like I do think I'm going to go on a long walk to make a point, which is that
I can't wait.
We're in comedy. And I think for a lot of guys, their social currency is being funny. And because we basically like on a daily basis are exposed to the funniest people, are getting funnier, we are it's like, I mean, I know this sounds like so old fashioned, but like traditionally women's currency is their looks. So if I started dating a male model, not even that I don't think the main thing I bring to the table is looks, but like, because societally it's sort of like the lady is pretty and the man is the personality, that can like put people in their head. And anyway, I think that we're going to have way less of a tolerance for like someone who isn't that funny. And so I think a lot of guys are not even going to step up to the plate because they're like, the thing that I'm good at that has gotten me girls before, this person does professionally. But again, I feel like anyone who might listen would be like, you're blowing yourself up too much, or like there's lots of very funny women who have guys.
There are very funny women who have guys. I interviewed a non-comedian who I met years and years and years ago, went to his party, got very drunk, and peed on his floor. And I asked, why wouldn't you date me? And he was like, well, aside from you peeing on my floor, I felt like you were too much. You were too much of a personality. And I felt like I would have to be on all the time.
Sure.
And I would have to like step up to where you were. And he was like, and I knew I couldn't do that. And then he's like, also, you peed on my floor. I was like, And I was like, had I come to your party but a normal person, would you have dated me? He was like, absolutely. And I was like, okay.
And I think they're one that's like, I mean, it's kind of cool that he could be like honest and mature. And I think that there is truth to like, I don't know. I think as we like grow and try to do better at this stuff, it's like you can't deny who you are by your nature. And I do think like something I've experienced in dating is like I'll see a side of myself and I'll be dating a guy and I'll be like, this side of myself isn't working, so I really got to like push it down. But then you get to the next guy and you're like, oh, they love this side of myself. And I don't have to do any pushing down, right? But I think in general, it's like you need to be like, okay, I'm Nicole or I'm Alison, and here are things that are natural to me that are great, but here are things that are natural to me that maybe aren't the best, and how can I like work on those? Because you don't want to not be who you are, but you don't want to be like, fucking take it or leave it, suckers, you know? So, yeah.
I do tend to find myself when I meet a guy trying to ground myself. Kind of like how they tell you in improv scenes. It's like if you start grounded, you can reach the crazy. So I feel like if I start grounded, I can like rev up to like, this is how I am 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I love to scream.
My version of that is I try to be like so chill. And I think as my friend, he would say that my nature is not chill.
No, you are not a chill person.
Right. And I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like you want to like take 17 hours to text me back? I fucking love it. Watch me wait. My version of like,
waiting.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm going to really stick it to him. I'm going to wait 20 minutes to text back. I'm like,
that's what I do.
You know,
I'll be like, I'm going to wait too. I'm going to wait 37 minutes. And it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, life is stupid, Alison.
Yeah.
But this podcast is not.
It's gold.
And we've come full circle.
Is it done already?
We're done.
I could talk 90 more hours.
We are done. I'll have you back.
Great. I have my offer stands of being your band leader. I know there's no band here.
Maybe I'll do an episode where you are my band leader. Maybe I'll do an episode where I do it like a late night show and I have multiple guests. Anywho, Alison, would you like to plug anything?
Watch the Goldbergs, and if I'm ever dismissive of you, world, call me on it. I probably will be stung in the moment, but I need to know. I desire to learn. And I'm sorry. And it comes from me hating myself, not me hating you.
Oh, no.
It's just true.
Alison, please don't hate yourself.
I don't hate myself.
You got a rockin' body, and you're very funny.
Thanks.
Allison heard me say that she had a rockin' body with a mutual friend on a show that I was shooting.
Brightened my day.
And
I should masturbate to that.
Mixing the audio sent that audio clip to Allison.
It was amazing.
Which makes me feel like I cannot say anything anywhere.
You can say nice things anywhere.
I guess. Imagine if I was like, ooh, I love Allison's body. I want to fuck her. That'd be crazy.
I would love it.
I would fuck you.
What I think is funny, though, is the person you're talking to is a guy that we know, but I don't know him super well. And he, I feel like, could have either been like, she's trash, or he's married, so he had many opportunities to be creepy or suck one way or another, and he didn't. He was just like, yeah, but also wasn't like, I want to fuck her.
No, he's a genuinely good boy.
Yeah, and he's got a hot ass wife who I met at a like barbecue, and I just went up to her and I was like, you have great eyebrows.
I say it to her all the time. I'm like, your brows. I love every time I see her. It's a great big hug, and I like look at them brows, and I'm like, ooh wee.
I'd like to think that there's like a small set of comedy women that immediately know now who we're talking about because of this comedian's wife's eyebrows.
They're great. Okay, so you can watch Alison on the Goldbergs, and if you like this podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you comment, if you like it, and rate it, and then comment. And if you leave a comment that's like a nasty little thing to me, I'll read it on the next recording of my podcast. So a prime example is, I want to wife you up so I can fuck you all day, every day. Or I like you so much, I want to fuck your mouth. Or
when you said nasty, I thought you meant like mean, and I was like,
no.
Why must you punish yourself?
I mean like nasty little
like
dirty
sexy
things, like I want to shit in your mouth. That's bad. That's just not nice.
But you know that they mean it as a compliment.
Yes. Or like, I want to fuck you so hard that I rip a hole in your uterus or cervix. Which comes first?
It goes. Okay, I learned this recently. Did I tell you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Anyway, it goes like, vagina is the canal, then cervix is like a little bottleneck, then uterus is the big old situation where a baby grows.
You can write, I want to fuck you so hard that I pierce your cervix and swirl around in your uterus.
You can write that, people. You thought you couldn't, but now you know that you can't.
That's it for me. Bye. Bye.
That was a HeadGum podcast.